Greetings everyone, and Great here from another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the left side is the blue Isabella, we've got Inconspicuous. Spawn on the right side is the green Forscythe, we got SylerSK. When it comes to COs, Forscythe is unchanged for the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding costs, standard 5 radius, no energy, no expansion, and of course provides all units plus 20. Isabella, of course, is nerfed from the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get plus 20, plus 10. Quite a small bonus, but of course she does, for her super power, it does give plus 2 movement range and plus indirect maximum range. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. This map is a 3-base map with airport in the corners, comm towers, safe comm towers as well. Yeah, it seems like I've been seeing a large number of replays between these two. I think they're similar rank, hence why they're probably matched up with each other. But also, there's a good number of replays. I actually sort of have to limit the number of how many I do between the two. I don't want to cast them too much. Try to get a more mix of players. But I think this one stood out being a decent one. And also, SylerSK has also been playing quite a bit of Hawk. I see him as... It seems like he's a Hawk main, just by my cursory glance. Can't say if that's true or not. Double bike there. Bike, and base skip. Yeah, him, and of course his previous name, he just doesn't surrender, which is always a bit of a problem. That's one reason I tried to be a bit picky with replays with him, because if I have a feeling that's going to be a game where he just doesn't surrender, I just don't cast it. Tank, infantry. Of course, comm tower's being catched on up, but it's a safe comm tower. Mech. Triple mechs. I always love seeing mech play. Let's see how well it goes. Tanks pushing up north. Another tank there. First place to see a Forscythe tank, but then again, you don't have to go immediately for your Forscythe for your first tank. You can always eye for, say, this HQ point there, and Isabella's trying to make a power play here. If Isabella captures the bike first, then she will not be able to stop this infantry unit bike. If she runs into the bike first, then she has an opportunity to interrupt the capture. So it looks like she's going to go greedy, go for double comm tower. Mech's also a little bit too slow to really go along with that. Does get trapped there, and looks like Isabel will have 2 comm towers for a time frame. Lots of captures there. Units are not screaming forward to help protect the comm tower, so possibly it could have been a missed power play. Going around capture these properties. CO's a tank there that now does get trapped there. Comm tower does provide 3 defense stars and will start flipping immediately. So that's going just a little bit small benefit to Isabella. She has basically this turn to utilize it. Recon, infantry, artillery. And looks like Isabella's managed to capture some properties in the middle. Holding it, not likely. Not with the composition. The mech play is too slow to support that capture. But most certainly slow down Forscythe, that's for sure, because she's able to start obtaining these properties. And this can be a very good prop to get hold of. After all, this is a good prop to defend this way, but also this mountain range here with these forests is also good to defend this way as well. Tank mech. Takes out that unit there. Of course, that bike will be picked on off. Tank, flare, tank. That was a good trap there. Right now, Forscythe has a pretty good core takes up there with a medium tank and anti-air, going hyper-aggressive armor up north. His defense down south is a little bit lacking. Isabella's got a forward position, but may not be able to hold it all too well. Also, pulling the infantry off there and let the recon guard of the city could be very strong. That's simply not going to be the case. And again, there's also artillery in range of that city, so that's a good thing he's not on top of the city, now thinking about it. I could go down. Gets the bike there, strikes the infantry unit. Artillery, anti-air, tank. Looks the capture, gets a good strike there. Anti-air, tank, mech. And we do actually have a rocket here by Isabella. Don't know how effective that will be. Got to get to the city here in order for a good consumer spot. It's in an okay position right now, but it can easily get overran. Isabella does have a good number of forces here. Good number of mechs to engage all these tanks. Of course, that Isabella has, or Forscythe has a flare right there. Got a couple deployed down south. Flare fires, spots a tank. Forscythe is pushing forward, takes out a number of mechs there. And the one hoof infantry unit there. Strikes the artillery, strikes there, so the rocket needs to get to there. Artillery, bike, maybe, I don't like 2 artillery, it's a little bit too slow here. The rocket may need to get right there. Flare fire, spots a whole lot of stuff, mech gets a good strike. Tank falls on up, got 39 injury now for her. Forscythe's command tank does go down, good strike there. Falls back to the city, it probably would have been 3 health tank to hit the 3 health tank, honestly. Strikes the infantry unit there, finish off the infantry unit there, start catching those properties there. Rocket does take out some of these units there, does not push forward. Recon gets a good strike there on the artillery there. So this will make a pretty good counterattack there. 127,000 versus 90,000. Forscythe maybe it's overextend a little bit there. Tank deployed on there. Looks like this property will be captured. He strikes Isabella's command tank. Could go down. Don't know if the 4 health tank is not able to range it. I would have attacked that 1 health mech and finished off the other tank, but decided not to. Isabella has 56 energy. She could get her superpower this turn. Getting 4 more energy is very easy. Looks like she's not going for that. Isabella now has a superpower. I say pull back her command tank, keep it safe, and maybe I deploy it next turn. Merge is there. Don't know if merging is a good idea, since it of course means less units on the offensive next turn. So good number of units there. Isabella's command tank will be fine. Of course, she fires what? +2 movement for all units, right? +2 movement for all units. So these mechs are potentially in range. They can go up to this line here. So it looks like both those mechs out of range. They'll both be a range to 8 here. Won't be a range to tank or medium tank. But these guys, oh, that one got hit there. Does get trapped by the 1 health mech. That's actually not good. And this mech is able to range this artillery. So it is possibly a good idea to go for the superpower. Let's see what she does. Flares, fires the superpower, takes out the battlecopter. Recon sprints way forward, gets a good shot there, and spots. Takes out the mech, or bike. Mech takes out that unit there. 1 health mech starting to flip. That'll take a bit of time. Good strike there. As well, the rocket has 1 additional range, so they're able to range the ETR regardless. Good shot there. Medium tank getting struck, gets knocked out. ETR almost gets knocked out there. Rocket takes out the unit there, does get trapped on the artillery. And got another medium tank ATR bike. Isabella in turn 136. Forscythe starts turn 72. Takes out Sax's ATR there. Good strike there. Mech still strike the mech. Artillery strikes the mech. Finish off that mech. Tank. Finish off that mech there, who has trying to capture for 1 health. Battlecopters in the region. One of these battlecopters will get shot down by the ATR. Bike, recon, Duster. I don't think Duster's a good idea right now. Looks like Isabella's pulling back from the center of the map. Rocket is in a good defensive position. Just may need a mech or infantry unit on the mountains nearby to help protect it, as well as spot for it. Trying to flip this property there. Nothing in range of it at the moment, at least not in artillery-wise. We're now Forscythe 25,000, as well as 24,000. The key property that's different between the two is the central city right there. Isabella does push down south of our command tank. Good strike there. Bit of a merge, takes out that unit there. Takes out that mech there. Isabella has a nice core of vehicles forward, trying to capture the base and or the airport there. 80 tanks would be a good idea, barring the mechs. This is the battlecopter, takes out that capturing squad. And looks like he's Forscythe still unaware about this rocket firing away. Of course, it's hidden. And so there's some good targets from that rocket, both an artillery and a tank. I mentioned ATR. Good strike there, and decides to strike the artillery rather than the tank there with the rocket. Takes the battlecopter there. Tank strikes tank, or medium tank strikes tank. Merge there, takes out the tank. Artillery advancing. And artillery in this forest there would be very good. Recon does spot this artillery there, likely will strike this medium tank. Isabella's trying to overrun the southern flank quite severely. Got insert 168,000, Forscythe starts at 83, so he's down by half. Takes a duster. We've got another artillery here, but it's in different range thanks to recon. Strikes the medium tank down south with the artillery there, getting down a half health. Got 37 entry for Isabella at the moment. And Isabella, or Forscythe has quite a bit of a tank core there. Puts around into the tank. Got now a war tank to stabilize the northern flank. That's not a bad idea. We've also got another rocket here. Checks on the insert, does spot the rocket there, so it's about to get knocked on out. Possibly. Does get to interrupt the capture the column tower. Another anti-tank, battlecopter, mech, and infantry. Rocket falls back. War tank sick into the forest. Battlecopter does go down. Anti-tank getting struck by multiple targets. Down to 1 health. This one does have a superpower available. Max finished off one of the ATRs. Get another hit there on that ATR. She could be safe to pull out another air asset. Got a tank mech though. And looks like the force is starting to fall back up north. Haven't even seen the war tank just yet. Rocket can advance way forward once again. Though it may be on range stuff. Yep, if she pops with superpower, it will be in range. Yep. If you see anti-tanks being pulled in the field, you're likely losing that flank. Anti-tanks are nice and all, but they're slow and expensive and only really good in desperate defenses generally. War tank or another medium tank and mech. Tank strikes the AT-air, and now mechs are migrating down south for the winter. Starting to push forward there, does spot the medium tank. And rocket with a superpower will be in range of that tank. It may see a power this turn. That rocket was also in range. Pike to spot the tank, or artillery does get hit. Motor properties being flipped down south, takes the battlecopter there. 1 health mech, at least can occupy the airport. Pike, and mech. Bomber up north. Occupies the central base, or the southern base. And I have a feeling Forscythe's going to fight out to the end. Medium tank. And Force's main tank does go down. Medium tank strikes the tank, and Recon gets knocked out. Mech gets struck. Bike, Recon, Rocket. And Forscythe does go ahead and resign. This is Android saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.